I just wanna say that I was one of those people who actually wanted Gladiator II to succeed and be a good movie. There weren't many of us. When I read some first reviews, I was pleasantly surprised and even got somewhat excited about this film, but now that I've actually seen it, damn, I have to say that it wasn't really good, unfortunately. First of all, I haven't rewatched the first Gladiator recently, but while watching the sequel, I caught myself thinking that the second movie is just a pretty mediocre remake of the first one. Structurally, it's almost the same. This is the biggest issue in my opinion. Gladiator 2 just blindly repeats the first movie without trying to be something else, without trying to show us something new. In almost every aspect, the second part feels just like a pale imitation of the first movie. The story is less moving, the main character is way less charismatic and interesting. Paul Mescal is not a great main protagonist and his character is boring as hell. Paul Mescal does lack any charisma that is needed for such a big role. I was way more interested in the character of Pedro Pascal. His character General Acacius is also pretty bland, but at least Pascal has this unique charisma and charm, plus voice. Mescal has nothing. And the most interesting character was Denzel Washington's Macrinus, by far. Such a good performance. The CGI is much worse than I hoped. The monkeys looked ugly as hell. They were very obviously CGI. So were the sharks. Initially I was gonna complain that there couldn't be any sharks in the Colosseum. It was too ridiculous, but after doing some research I found out Romans actually did use some marine life for naval battles, but no evidence of sharks being used. But that's okay honestly, the movie didn't try to be even remotely historically accurate. The first Gladiator was not either, let's be honest. These films are just Star Wars or The Lord of the Rings, but set in ancient Rome instead of some sci-fi or fantasy world. I wish we saw elephants and tigers in action. We saw them in the movie, but they weren't used during fights. A wasted damn opportunity, if you ask me. After all I can say about Gladiator 2 is that this is one of the most useless and unnecessary films ever made. It's just a very tasteless remake of the first film with not the best cast and mediocre CGI. Now, the most important question.
Are you not entertained?
Well, I was kind of entertained. Some action scenes were cool, music was decent, and I just really like ancient Rome. But the movie is still mediocre. Ridley Scott keeps receiving lots of money to make his films for some reason. In the last 15 years, Scott made only 2 decent movies in my opinion, Prometheus and The Martian. Napoleon was such a disappointment, but at least Napoleon is an original movie unlike Gladiator. It's really funny to read comments from alt-right people who claim that this is an anti-man movie for some reason. Honestly, everything offends alt-right people these days, even 50-year-olds The Dark Side of the Moon cover. Soon they'll start suing woke physics for creating rainbows in the sky, I swear.